What's up everybody, it's your boy Code 102 aka Aiden. Welcome back to another video. Today's going to be basically an update video of what I think should happen next for the Chicago Bulls, or what the future is, just based on solely on records and where we are so far in the season and how well we're playing and all of that. Just an update on what my thoughts are on the Chicago Bulls. So if you want more videos like this, be sure to leave a like and let's get straight into the video. So far the Bulls, they're not doing very well in the standings and whatnot. We have a lot of, I guess, unfulfilled potential, you could say, with our young players. They're still improving, but yet we're not winning games. I guess you could say that we still need just more time to learn and to gel together, and I understand that. I definitely think that a young team such as the Bulls, it is important to gel together because they're all young, they're all growing together, they all have different play styles, but we're trying to gel into playing the same style of basketball for everybody. So it is a hard process, I understand that, but I feel like, just me personally, this is not anything like factual or anything. I just think this team has been playing for a couple of years now, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning more games than we are. I know that we're 13 and 26 at the moment. We did lose to the Pacers at the time of this recording, and when it comes to actual standings, we are 12th. So only a few games out of the playoffs. The 8th seed has 17 wins, and we have 13. So if you think about it, is the playoffs really in our future? I'm gonna say it's tough because anything can happen. There are a lot of teams that are going to just give up and start tanking soon, and I think we're going to be one of those teams. Honestly, I don't think the playoffs are anywhere near our future. I know that that was the goal for this season. In my opinion, the goal was, because it's all about improvement in the standings, improvement in the players. So one step at a time. Really, that's how I process this season, and I don't think it's gone particularly well. I don't think we're having major leaps forward in our progression as a team, but I don't think it's a step back either. I think the way that we're playing is the biggest problem right now, because I think our players are improving, our efficiency are improving, our run of the ball, our attack is fine. I don't know. It's just not gelling together. Our players just don't seem to be gelling together. But it's kind of weird to say that, because our team is a close team. It's a close unit, you know. So why aren't they gelling? What's happening off the court that's making them not gel together? You see, we're like, in many ways, we're a good defensive team as well. We lead the league in steals. So why are we not gelling together? What's making us not win? Is it just the fact that our players are too young to stay in close games? But then why do we get blown out a lot of the times? Why is our squad depth, why is our bench not good enough? But in most games, they're the ones that's carrying us. If you know what I mean? Like, when we all went into the season, I think a lot of us said that our bench isn't going to be good enough. A lot of people thought that Kobe White would be starting. We'll get to that later. But so far, our bench is probably better than our starters. But our bench was never supposed to be good enough. Our bench was not supposed to be a good bench. And for the most part, it isn't a good bench. So what's happening with the starters? Why are the starters not gelling together? This is I can't recall how many times I've heard that Zach Lavine and Larry Markkinen can't play well together. Why can't they play well together? I don't understand that at all. It's because they both are not the best defensive players that we have. Their offense should be carrying their defense, especially in this day and age in the NBA. And they both try very hard on defense as well. It's not like they completely neglect it. Zach Levine's defense this season, I honestly think, has been a lot better than previous seasons. Mainly because he's at least trying on the defensive end. And that's all we can ask for from a player who's not a very good defensive player. Defense can happen naturally, but it also could be learnt as well. So if the fact that he's trying means that he will learn, and eventually when we need it, it's going to be there. So The defense shouldn't be an issue, but why aren't they gelling offensively together? Why does one person, why does Zach Lavine have to have a bad game when Larry has a good game? Why does Larry have to have a good game for Zach Lavine to have a bad game? I don't understand why you can't just do a pick and pop with Larry Markkinen and Zach Lavine, and that's guaranteed. Honestly, I truly believe that's guaranteed points right there. A pick and pop with Zach Lavine and Larry Markkinen. Zach Lavine is the ball handler, Larry Markkinen as the one that does the pick and the pop. You got a fantastic three-point shooter in Larry Markkinen, who, yes, confidence-wise, it's down in the dumps really, but it's all about self-belief. He even knows that there's going to be better times ahead for him. We can forget about regression and all that. I honestly do not think Larry Markkinen has regressed. I just think that his confidence is low. He's taking the right shots, but those shots are not going in, and that's the only difference. Shooters go through those types of seasons, through those types of games, through those types of stretches. It's happened to everybody. It's happened to the best of shooters, and it's also happened to bad shooters having a good shooting. Having good shooting percentages, good shooting games. It happens to anybody. So all that's fine. We can move on from that. But I just think, and I think the main reason is the coaching, the way that we're setting up our plays. I think we can do better, and that leads me to Jim Boylan. Now, I have a lot of Bulls fans and even non-Bulls fans that think that our coaching is not good enough. And as much as I agree with them, this starts with the owners with me, because it's like a chain of command. If the owners start understand where they're going wrong, or if they're going to get removed, then it will follow. We need to have the right people in place for every type of situation. The owners, the executives, the general manager, the trainers, the players, all of that, the coach. So as much as we can all say fire Jim Boylan, and yes, maybe we should fire Jim Boylan. Maybe Jim Boylan just isn't good enough to be the coach of the Chicago Bulls. We gave him a chance, and maybe that chance isn't working out. But it's not just his fault. I think it's everybody's fault, from the owners downwards to the players. We can't just blame it on one situation or one type of person, one management role, which it's just being the coach. The coach makes the plays, but the players are supposed to produce. So if the players are not producing, it's always going to fall onto the coach for the reasons why they're not producing. These players can produce, and they are not producing, and that does fall onto the coach. So a lot of my friends say we should fire Jim Boylan, and I agree with that. But he's not the only one that should be fired. There should be a whole rehaul of everybody in that club. Or in that team, just needs to be assessed, reevaluated, and then a decision needs to be made on them, whether they're good enough to be a member of the Chicago Bulls, players, coach, management, owners, all of that. And I remember our owner saying that if we have another bad season, that they could be stepping down, because they really believe in their hearts this team could make the playoffs. Well, so far, I'm going to say this now, whether we make the playoffs or not, this has been a bad season. Not because the East is so weak. From the 8th seed to downwards, the East has been terrible. 7th seed and above, most of them are exceeding expectations, if anything. But from 8th seed downwards, it's complete garbage. It is terrible, and it's a bad representation of what the East really is. The East is a competitive conference, but it's only from the 7 teams. Everything else other than that, it's not that good of a conference. Maybe for the Nets, because I believe the Nets hold the 8th spot at the moment, or I'm not sure. But when they get their star players back, they're going to be a good team as well. But everything else, it just doesn't seem to be working for anyone. So with the Bulls, if we make that 8th seed, is it really a successful season? I mean, it's going to be good playoff experience, and that's a step forward for the franchise. But other than that, making the playoffs in this type of way, it's not playoff. It's not a progression of the team, because 13 and 26, we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to be well under 500 if we make the playoffs. So it's just an example of the East being weak, not the Bulls being good, if you know what I mean. So I want to get to as well the players. I've mentioned some players, but I want to I want to mention the players that maybe play more of an impact on us than we recognise. And I want to start with Chris Dunn. I think Chris Dunn, he's leading the league in steals, and he's probably been one of our best players this season. Everybody that wanted Chris Dunn traded, and I'm not going to lie, I was one of those people. If he wasn't going to be a bench player, then he shouldn't be playing. But he's been one of our best players. Why is that? I think Chris Dunn has always had the mentality to work hard and to be aggressive, and it's showing in a team like this. When we lead the league in steals, there has to be a reason why. He's the reason why. He gets so many steals every game. He's crafty. He can. He's not a great shooter, and I think that's the main reason why people want him to go. Because passing wise, he's a decent passer. Honestly, he's a very good. He's a decent passer. Offensively, I just think he gets a lot of turnovers, maybe, but he's a solid passer. Defense, I don't think we have to question his defense besides those stupid fouls, which seems to not be much of a problem anymore. But it's still a reoccurring theme, but it's just not reoccurring that often compared to last season. So I think Chris Dunn has been helpful for us, and I want to give him props. This video is not all going to be negative. There are players that have helped us a lot. And I think Thaddeus Young is another one. I think Thaddeus Young, without him, our bench would probably be the worst in the NBA. He brings everything. I'm surprised that there's been rumors of him wanting to leave because he doesn't like the bench role. But I think the bench role suits him well, man. He's the energy guy. He's the guy where he comes onto the court and he brings everything. I think the bench needs that. I think the bench needs players like that. They come on, whatever minutes, whatever role they have, they're going to give 100% to everything. Yes, he might not be the number one scoring option on the bench, but he brings anything that you need. Defense, he's got it. Offense, he's got it. He can shoot the three as well. He can shoot the mid-range. He's a very, very good post player. He can give you passing. He's a good dribbler for his size. I think every team would love a player like Thaddeus Young. I really do, and it's why so many teams have acquired Thaddeus Young services. You can't ask for it's very, very rare you get players like that give you everything, and he's one of those. He's one of those types of guys. Maybe he should be starting, but I think the bench role suits him perfectly. So he needs to get his credit as well for the Chicago Bulls. Now, obviously, we could talk about Zach Lavine. And I think everybody knows what Zach Lavine does for us. I mean, he's our best player. He's a scoring machine offensively. He's lights out. I'm pretty sure he dropped 42 today. Very incredible numbers. But I think his scoring is coming at our expense a little bit because if he was, let's just say Zach Lavine got injured, where would we be? And I do not think we can win many games, if any. And we're not even winning games, but like without Zach Lavine, this team would be probably one of the worst in NBA history. And I really believe that. Yeah, we got the young talent. Obviously, there's going to be more shots for the likes of Lowry and Wendell and Kobe White, but I just think that without Zach Lavine, we'd be nothing. And I know we would have to trade if we ever traded Zach Lavine. We're going to get good assets in return. I don't think it's worth trading Zach Lavine at the moment. Just the way he's been playing, he has been carrying this team. But a lot of people just don't like Zach Lavine from a Chicago Bulls perspective. People do not like Zach Lavine. They think maybe he takes too many shots, or he makes stupid plays sometimes. Yes, but who doesn't? Honestly, there are very few players that don't make at least one stupid play every game. That's how turnovers get started at the end of the day, from a stupid play or a stupid pass, a stupid shot, anything like that. So with Zach Lavine, and he's so young as well, he's only going to get better. I think we need to build pieces around him, and we need our pieces to grow. Which is why when I'm making this video, I'm not going to say I don't really want to put it all on the players because they're young. At the end of the day, they need to grow. It's more about everything else around them, the coaches and the owners. That's what needs to change. And for that to change, I think the players will have a positive reaction to that because they're not stupid. They know everything that goes on with this organization. They know what the fans think as well. They're not going to completely neglect what fans have to say. The fans are the heartbeat of every organization. So if the fans are unhappy, they're going to know about it and they're going to hear about it. Maybe it's professional not to respond to it, but they know everything that's happening with this organization. and they know the displeasure. They know the patience that some people have. So it's just how people perceive it and how the players perceive it. Also, this video is coming towards an end. There's only a couple minutes left. I really want to say that the reason why I'm being the way I am in this video is because I don't see how we win many games if our players get injured. The example here is Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter got injured in the Mavericks game. He had a nasty ankle sprain, high ankle sprain. And before I say anything, health comes first before basketball. So get well soon to Wendell Carter. We're gonna really miss you, but as long as you're healthy, I think that's all that really matters in this situation. It's a very high ankle sprain, and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. And those weeks are crucial for us because if we're ever going to have a chance to make the playoffs, I think we need all of our players here. And I think in the first half, that center Miles Turner dropped 17 and 8. We need Wendell Carter. We need all of our players at the front foot. Yes, I'm not gonna put any shame on Daniel Gaffer's name. I mean, at the end of the day, he's put in a situation where he needs to be ready, but he's versing quality players, so it's just going to take him time to adapt, and that's fine. He's a very good player, Daniel Gaffin, and I have a lot of faith in him. But we need all of our players right now. With Wendell Carter being out, how do we win games? We've already lost to the Pelicans and to the Pacers without Victor Oladipo, I assume. But it's just not good enough from everybody, and we just need to improve. So, do I think we're going to make the playoffs? I think you never know. I'm not going to give complete and utter doubt towards the team and to the players, but it's looking very unlikely from this point in game. We have to catch up to 4 games. We do verse a lot of the East still, so there is always a chance we've got to win a lot of games from now. And after the All-Star break, I'll probably make another video after the All-Star break to really determine if we're going to make the playoffs or not, because it is too early to tell. I can accept that, but it's important to know where we are now. So what's next for this franchise? That's honestly undecided. I think the first step maybe is to fire our coach, because I don't think owners, general managers, vice presidents, and all that, none of that's going to change during the season. So maybe the first step is to fire the coach, Jim Boylan, and try and get some more experience, because if you think about it, experience lack of experience between the players and the coach is a form of disaster. Let's be honest. We need experience in coaching for these players to get experience. Look at Fred Hoiberg. He's a college coach. He's experienced at college coaching, and that's why he's so good at it. But when he got into the NBA, he struggled to coach. And it's the Jim Boylan's. It's nothing different. I mean, we can give these coaches a chance, yes, but I think we need experience. Anyway, that's the end of the video. It's your boy Code 102.